Hey, family. Hi, sis.
Good morning.
Lesson 309. I will not fear to look within today. I will not fear to look within today. Within me is eternal. Can we stop for a second?
Yeah.
Within me is eternal innocence, because it is God's will that it be there forever and forever. I, his son, whose will is limitless as is his own, can will no change in this. For to deny my Father's will is to deny my own. To look within is but to find my will as God created it and as it is. I fear to look within because I think I made another will, which is not true, and made it real. Yet it has no effects. Within me is the holiness of God. Within me is the memory of Him. The step I take today, my Father, is my sure release from idle dreams of sin. Your altar stands serene and undefiled. It is the holy altar to myself, and there I find my true identity. Ugh.
So, yeah. So, sis, I've just seen something.
Me too, you go first.
Okay, might be the same thing. Um, yeah, it really is holographic and multi-layered, really, this awakening journey from the dream, right? What I've see today is I will not fear to look within today.
Mhm.
It totally correlates with the first with the first obstacle to peace in chapter 19. The first obstacle to peace is the desire to get rid of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yes.
We want to, that's what the whole mythical me, the gap, the body, special relationships is about, is to distract us enough so that we never, ever fall inward to that peace,
Mm-hmm.
to look within,
That's
because
right.
there's a terror far greater than the one we consciously have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about that? What can you,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
what
oh.
did you see? Yeah, or
You're right. Because, okay, so the desire to get rid of peace is the projection of the world, so that we're constantly going, ooh, gotta do this, gotta get that, need to be in this relationship, what's going on there, right? It's the whole outer world. And as long as we are busy in our forgiveness of outer symbols, the ego's not too threatened. It tries to distract you, it tries to pull you into sleep, it tries to get you, on some hairline or down a rabbit hole, and it's fine. But as you start doing the forgiveness process and you start peeling it back and you really know that all of this is in my mind, there comes a time where you are willing to forgive everything that your physical senses are reporting. And you stay right here with yourself, and you start to turn within to look at, well, what's really running the show? What's going on in my thought before it even becomes a projection? What's going on there? And this is where the ego goes, you do not want to look within. Because if you look within, you are going to find that you are everything that you are so afraid of, like that you are worthless, that you are unlovable, that you are unforgivable, that you are sin incarnate. All these fears and the guilt, you're going to find that you are guilty, right? And so this is...
and worthy of being struck dead by God.
And yes, okay. So I'm going to... First I'm going to just toggle off here for a moment. This is from chapter 21, section 4 in A Course in Miracles, entitled aptly, The Fear to Look Within. I'm going to read paragraph 2, and he says, remember that the ego is not alone in our mind. Its rule is tempered, and its unknown, quote, enemy, whom it cannot even see, that's the Holy Spirit that's also in our mind, it fears. So loudly, the ego tells you not to look inward, for if you do, your eyes will light on sin, and God will strike you blind. This you believe, and so you do not look. Yet this is not the ego's hidden fear, nor yours who serve it. Loudly indeed, the ego claims it is. Too loudly and too often. For underneath this constant shout and frantic proclamation, the ego is not certain it is so. Here we go. Beneath your fear to look within because of sin is yet another fear, and one which makes the ego tremble. Okay, and I'll come back to this. But look at this. So you're here having a pretty crappy gap experience, and you've been doing a lot of forgiveness, and you've been accepting the atonement, and now you're really starting to want to know, okay, everything out here is coming from my mind, so maybe I should look within my mind. Maybe I should finally look down, like inward, right? That what's motivating all this? And the ego goes, no, you don't want to, you really don't want to do that, guys, right? What is it truly afraid of? It's not, this is the ego thought system. It is afraid that you would actually look within and go past this circle of fear that we've talked about. This is its terror, because this is the light of what we are. This is Christ mind. This is the obliteration of the entire ego thought system. This is, remember, whoop, there, where did it go? It's gone, it's wiped out. So this is the ego's ultimate terror. So it says, don't look within, you're going to be struck blind by God. No, it's not. If we actually look within, forgive this thought, right? That's how we allow our right mind to take the seat or the throne again. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he says, what if you looked within and saw no sin? This fearful question is one the ego never asks. And you who ask it now are threatening the ego's whole defensive system too seriously for it to bother to pretend it is your friend.
Oh.
Okay?
So no longer our friend.
That's where the hatred comes up. You guys, this is that point where you're going, oh my God, it feels like it's really ramped up. It's getting worse. No, actually, it's lost all of its outer layers and distractions, and we're seeing its thought system for what it is. Look at that again. Guilt, hostility, hatred, revenge, vengeance, fury, death, right?
Wow.
So we're finally, this is where it ramps it up. It feels like it ramps it up, but we're just seeing it bald-faced, I guess is another way to put it. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So it's no longer our friend. It's no longer even suspicious. It's full-on viciousness.
That's it.
It's full-on viciousness, because what's the next step? If you could forgive it in its most vicious state, it has no more defenses. When you can look upon its hatred calmly with the Holy Spirit and know that is not my thinking. My mind holds only what the thoughts that I share with God. When you can look at the ego in its wildest imaginations and not flinch, that's Jesus, right? That's the return of the Christ mind with Christ vision. It's the correction of everything that you were seeing in the gap. And now mind is leading the way. Now mind is governing you and your life and your relationships and your function, and you're in the happy dream and in the real world.
Wow.
That's it.
The Christ mind with a capital M.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Christ mind. And so I will not fear to look within today. We've got to look within. And the ego, know that the ego is going to go, right? But now we're on to it. We know how it works. So we can anticipate that the ego is going to throw up all kinds of stuff when you start to look within. Recognize this is your invitation to walk through it. How? By muscling as an independent doer? No. Through forgiveness. Looking at it, letting it go, looking at it with Holy Spirit, forgiving it, letting it go, knowing you are giving yourself the greatest gift ever, your holy self. It's you that's calling to you under all these layers we've put on top. Come home, come home, come home. The kingdom of heaven awaits you. The remembrance of your identity as the Christ is what you are making your way to, right? Or letting it come up is a better way of putting it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And I would suggest, what's that? Oh, yeah.
Feel into that?
Yes. The gratitude and the excitement, and just recommending that you all pick up chapter 21, section 4, and read the fear to look within, because it does tie into the holy relationship. It says well, I don't know if I really want to read all of that, but yeah.
Not all of it, but yeah.
And now the ego is afraid. Yet what it hears in terror, the other part, your right mind, hears as the sweetest music, the song it longed to hear since first the ego came into your mind. The ego's weakness is its strength. The song of freedom, which sings the praises of another world, brings to it hope of peace, for it remembers heaven. And now it sees that heaven has come to earth at last, from which the ego's rule has kept it out so long. Heaven has come because it found a home in your relationship on earth. And earth can hold no longer what has been given heaven as its own. Look gently on your brother and remember the ego's weakness is revealed in both your sight. What it would keep apart has met and joined, and looks upon the ego unafraid.
Can you talk about that? What is met and joined?
Remember that all the guilt, all the fear, all the stuff that we didn't want to see within was projected out. Where? Right? On our brothers. That's where we put it, to keep it safe and hidden from the inconvenience of knowing that's coming from my mind. So this is looking upon a brother, and instead of wanting to see the split mind, the ego, and be in conflict with your brother, the Holy Spirit in your mind and the Holy Spirit in your brother's mind looked upon each other and had a different agreement, which was, the closing of the gap, right? Wouldn't you know, the first time I really, the gap diagram is missing. Anyway, you know it. The gap closes, two split minds decide to come back to wholeness. So you see the two in a holy relationship say, let's honor our innocence and desire to join, right? So two brothers who are wanting to join into the right mind come together, and they remember the self. They remember the love that we are. We remember the truth. And so now from that place, that's the light that can look on the ego and its greatest terror, fear in any form, and not be afraid, because they know that they're the love that casts out that fear. There's nothing to be afraid of when you are back into your whole-mindedness, right? The ego is seen as nothing but a little squawking suggestion box with no power and no effect. But you won't know that in your split mind. you'll know it in your whole mind. So the holy relationship is the means to calmly look at, I don't care what this comes up with. Give me your worst. Let it rip. Because you can stand there quietly in the center of love in your mind, the power of the Holy Spirit, which is the presence of God. It is the literal presence of God that just goes, no. And this shrieks. This, oh my God, that's the end of the ego. It's the end of the thought system. Mind comes back to take its place. And now you are this beautiful Christed light in the world, about your function in your Father's business, in the flow.
Wow.
Consistently. Yeah.
Ah,
So that's what we get for not being afraid to look within.
that's a reward, right?
Yes.
And that's everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if you're not in a full-time holy relationship, you know, you've got miracle buddies or people in your course groups or whatever, somebody that shares the common goal that says, let's look at whatever the situation is. Let's look at what the ego's saying together, calmly, joined with the same intent to see through it. Yeah.
And that's what we do in the TTC.
That's exactly what we do.
We each have a chance to join with miracle buddies so that we can do that. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really good point and a great place to say, if you haven't checked out the Total Transformation course, it's on the nouksanchez.com website under courses and offerings. Check it out. Hope you'll join us. It's worth it. It's the living embodiment and practicing of these teachings.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also available in the
show more description box resources list.
Yeah, resources list. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just below here.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a link directly to it. Yeah.
All right. That was a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, you did so well, sis, to unpack that. Thank you for all of us.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Well, it's all making sense, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is to me. I'm starting to doubt my ability to communicate it clearly because I was telling sis, I see something and then I see it in its place in the midst of all the other teachings. And so it just fleshes up like this spider web or this holographic and then I don't feel as effective as delivering the teaching around one aspect of it. And it feels a little overwhelming to the thought. But I have to, again, I love you guys and I trust that something will land.
And we have to trust our brothers and sisters because the same Holy Spirit that's in our mind is in their mind.
That's right.
Your mind, right?
Yes.
And so we trust the Holy Spirit in your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hear them saying, we got it. So it's awesome. Thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Woo, big one. Lesson 309, I will not fear to look within today. It's the best thing we could ever do. And we will see you mañana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.